Hi everyone, welcome to Token Topics. I have an exciting video in store for all of you. I put together some important information and clips to give us an idea of how this digital asset and crypto space is unfolding. There are so many things going on between the BRICS nations, the potential collapse of the dollar, Bitcoin ETF, the Ripple lawsuit, SEC chaos with exchanges. It's hard to keep track. One thing we do know that is certain is that there is a change going on with the entire financial system, but it seems to be happening in stages, not all at once, which is understandable. Now, if you're holding any major asset that's talked about on this channel, you're not going to want to miss this video. As the payments landscape evolves and changes, we're entering into a pivotal moment in human history. There is a massive change going on. The financial landscape is drastically changing. We're seeing the birth of the BRICS and them creating their own currency. We're also seeing the transformation into a digital tokenized economy. At the same time, the dollar is failing as the world's reserve. And Andy Schechtman, a silver enthusiast who's very knowledgeable of what's going on, believes that the BRICS and other nations making up 85% around the world that are trading US dollars will dump the dollar at the same time. That is a likely event on the horizon. Either way, we're going to see the death of the dollar. Now, I stated multiple times on this channel that people have to understand that the death of the dollar doesn't mean it's going to go away completely. We're always going to see the dollar with us. We're most likely going to see a digital form. It's going to be reshaped, but it's not going to be the same dollar that we're trading in around the world. The key to success is to be in the know and to watch the landscape as it evolves and watch for a black swan event. Now, there's a lot of excellent blockchain projects that will stay with us that's helping to revolutionize everything in the world right now. But there's two blockchain projects that stand out above the rest that's transforming major payment rails, and that's Ripple and Stellar. Let's check out this clip from Crypto Sensei.
Check this out, guys. XRP and XLM, a part of the new financial system, guys. Check this out. This is actually a really fantastic clip. I'm glad I found it.
Takeaway is that increasingly FIs recognize that banking and payment systems have not kept up with the pace of advancements in the digital economy and in trading. E-com operates 24/7 cross-border relatively inexpensively. Trading, the front office is automated. There's low latency. Then you switch gears. Banks operate still typically in terms of batch processing, store and forward, and payments, messaging, clearing, and settlement are often decoupled. It can take days. This dichotomy is just unsustainable. And in response, we're seeing and hearing at Sibos how a number of FIs and FI app consortiums are harnessing blockchains.
FIs are financial institutions, if you didn't know.
Our contracts, digital assets, to align the performance of banking and payment systems with those of the digital economy. The second takeaway, I'd say, is that the Internet of Value is beginning to crystallize. And let me start with a framework. Let's think of the old industrial flywheels that take a lot of energy to make a half turn and a full turn. But once they start turning, there's momentum and it's hard to stop them.
She's talking about once banks start using it and more banks start using it, the momentum is going to keep it going, right? Because once one bank starts really kind of using this, the competitor bank has to kind of start using it too, or they're going to lose customers, right? It's all about keeping customers happy and satisfied with services. And that is why the push to instant payments is worldwide.
Let's overlay adoption of blockchain and digital assets. They've proven value. So part of the first turn, feasibility, certainly. And now we're seeing these use cases get into the bottom of that first turn, economic viability. And there's some exciting initiatives we've heard about at Sibos around interbank payments, delivery versus payments, for example, correspondent banking, messaging, cross-border, interbank, intrabank, intracompany, and importantly, when we get to the ESG, the S part, so lots of interesting energy there. And we're seeing cryptocurrencies like XRP, Stellar Lumens, and stablecoins like USDC playing an important role in getting that wheel to turn and deliver the internet. So the introduction of central bank digital currencies will accelerate the mainstreaming of digital assets. I'd say my third, coming to the crown jewel here, cryptocurrencies are gaining legitimacy as a new asset class.
This is great news for Hedera fans. And this just proves the evolution of the entire financial system and how everything is happening in such a short period of time. All these blockchains are going to interoperate. There's not going to be one to rule them all. One of them that will stand out, that will take a lot of partnerships with government and large financial institutions is Hedera. It's one that I speak about on this channel. So Sivo tweeted this out about the co-founder recently announced that FedNow will be using Hedera. FedNow is also partnered with Metal Blockchain, and I believe there's going to be a lot that's going to come out of that as well. Remember, everything is going to be working together. So every transaction, millions on FedNow would flow through Hedera. Let's check this out.
You'd end up with an account on Hedera, and every transaction would flow through Hedera. So it's a combination of the Hedera consensus service as well as the tokenization service. And it would end up being, many, many millions of transactions per day at scale. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal for Hedera. It's a big deal for the industry. And we're excited to see that FedNow had the position that they're confident enough in the company at Drop and in Hedera that they decided to go ahead and make an announcement.
That is truly great for Hedera. Now, each of these blockchains have their strong points, and they complement each other in this new financial system. These blockchains are going to work together. The main ones I talk about on this channel, Tokenize, they will tokenize practically everything. We know that the tokenization of everything is upon us. And this is tweeted out from Cypress Demonicor. EY is a company that helps digital pioneers fight data privacy, guide governments through cash flow crisis, unlock new medical treatments with data analytics, and pursue high-quality audits to build trust in financial markets and businesses, and had a representative on a panel openly say that smart guys are really looking for use case during this crypto winter. Let's check it out.
Tokenization, and I think still there is a kind of crypto winter, but the smart guys are now looking what to do next and to use the time where the hype is going on, but it has slowed down to some extent. But the smart guys are really looking for the use cases, preparing them and bringing them to light. And it's always a different thing that just to make a POC or really doing the real stuff. It's had some challenges too, but there are smart guys on the in the market that use they use the time.
Not long ago, Ripple purchased Medico. And check this out. Pay attention. Within 5 years, the crypto market will evolve and the volume will pick up, coming directly from the mouth of a $400 billion asset manager. Check this out.
Let's see, somewhere in the order of 700 to 800 trillion. So is the opportunity here about new assets, or is it really about the technology addressing costs and efficiencies and potentially safety, given you're eliminating intermediaries potentially as well?
Seamus, you are right that the cryptocurrencies is relatively small if you compare it with other established asset classes. But other asset classes started with a very small size as well 20, 30 years ago.
Indeed.
So I think you have to take it serious. And even some asset managers say it's not a known asset class at the moment. And I could confirm that. I agree with that. It's maybe not... It's not on the same level than equities or fixed income products, but it is completely different. You need your own models, you need an own infrastructure and things like that. And I think the features that differentiate cryptocurrencies from existing traditional asset classes, that is significant, and that is one of the reasons why we said at Union Investment, well, it has not the size of an asset class, and it has not the volume and the trading volume of an asset class, but it's so completely different that we just define it as a new asset class because we have to implement a new investment process, and I think that is the leading factor for us: new investment process, new asset class, and I think it will evolve. The volume will increase. And maybe in 5, 8, 10 years, there will be no discussion about that.
Let's check out this tweet from the Black Swan Capitalist where it has Robert Kiyosaki speaking about Bitcoin, silver, the dollar, and he actually mentions XRP, which he should. Anybody who's knowledgeable about capital markets, investing, the financial system, they should know what XRP is, certainly, especially during this point of time.
There's everybody listening, the question is, what are you doing? What are they doing? Mm-hmm. You know, I get so frustrated. I think this is the biggest bargain of all. It's silver. It's about 35 bucks for this thing. I remember I was paying $50 for this thing. Yep. So this is still undervalued, but people would still rather save this.
I know.
That's how brainwashed they are. I'm going, can't you guys see what's happening? No. I was told to save this. Well, why don't you save silver? Why don't you save XRP, Bitcoin? Why are you saving this when you know they're printing trillions of it right now?
Mm-hmm. Robert Kiyosaki is a very knowledgeable man. He knows what's going on with our current financial system, the printing of dollars, the bricks forming. He understands that all. And he's also very bullish on silver, which is another asset that I've spoken about on this channel. I'm also personally very bullish on silver. Hopefully I could take some big profits from the cryptos and buy up some more silver. So he mentioned XRP. He's fully aware. Another brilliant mind that I've actually showed a clip on his channel before is Peter Schiff. Now we have the technology to go back to a gold standard in a digital form. That is one of the issues that we have right now, the printing. There's no trust in our government. There's no trust in the central banking system. If we could go back to sound money. Robert Kiyosaki, he's a firm believer in precious metal backing money. I'm also a firm believer in that. I believe that we have the technology now, as Peter Schiff said. Now, it's either, and Peter Schiff, he actually mentioned something brilliant. He said, if the governments don't, the free market will. People are going to put their money into something that they know is sound, and if it's going to be on the blockchain, they'll do it on the blockchain. In fact, we have blockchains such as the XDC network, which I talk highly about on this channel. They already have precious metals. You don't have to own a whole ounce. You can own just a fraction of gold. You can buy a fraction of silver. It's pretty impressive. We now have the technology to move this value around. You can now move gold around, the value of gold, and teleport it anywhere around the world. And in fact, David Schwartz compared XRP to digital gold. It's also been compared to digital diamonds. Really, as not only a store of value, but as a commodity, meaning that it has a use case, it has utility. Now, Ripple is the father of interledger protocol. But as I've stated many times on this channel, other blockchains are also going to shine in this whole new financial system, this new world that we're entering into. You cannot have a new economy with the tokenization of real-world assets without affecting trade. Trade has to be digitized. And so this is very bullish for the digital asset space and blockchain industry worldwide. Chris Southworth is a leading international expert on creating modern digital trade ecosystems and also is an independent advisor to the UK government on the digitalization of trade. And he's Secretary General of the ICC UK. Now, digitization of trade is extremely bullish for the XDC network because that is their area of expertise. But this is also great for other blockchain projects such as Ripple, for an example. Brad Garlinghouse stated that there's people in supply chain that were looking for solutions that were reaching out to Ripple. And that goes back to each of these blockchains have their profession, their lane, but that's not to say that they can't do some similar tasks, and they can. Let's go ahead and hear some words from Chris so we have an understanding of what's going on with the digitalization of trade.
Comes into force in late September, 20th of September, and from that day onwards, anyone using English law can now start removing paper and begin the process of getting these efficiencies into their systems. And then from our perspective, our focus now changes in the UK from advocating for legal change to now implementing. And this has implications across UK borders, trade corridors, public and private sector trading systems. So we know this is the big challenge. This is the heavy lifting really now with companies. And, you know, we just got to go at it methodically, but we know the prize is big. And we know that we need to do this in collaboration with everybody else. But it's an enormous opportunity for the UK to really lead or continue leading at global level and really take this huge pain point away. You know, 35% of SMEs typically complain about paper and bureaucracy, and that's fairly consistent globally as well. But we also know there's a lot of appetite in the market to get rid of this pain. And obviously in a UK context, we know that our borders are in need of that digital revolution just as much as everybody else is around the world. So it's really exciting. Next phase is going to take some time, but the ICC goal is to digitalize 60 to 80% of world trade by 2026. It's really ambitious, and I can't see why we can't do that from the UK as long as we all put our minds to it and work together, because we have to in a way to then capitalize the benefits.
Wow, that is a huge explosion coming. Now, that ties in with this next clip from Rael Paul about what's going on with London. So now, let's get a different perspective of how big this really is. Rael Paul is a financial genius, and he's going to share some of his knowledge. This is tweeted out by Riz XRP. States here, regulatory arbitrage.
He says, forget it, we'll do it. It became what's known as the Eurodollar market, which is the overseas market for dollar borrowing and lending. That becomes we don't know the size of it, but let's call it a $400 trillion market. And then the US, then we get this big breakthrough in derivatives. The US has got the Chicago Board of Trade doing futures and options and all of this stuff. We start to figure out more complicated structures, things like swaps. And the US stops its banks doing it by its use of regulatory capital. They're like, no, this is inefficient. You can't do this. The UK and Europe went, well, we're going to regulate and allow it to happen because it's big. We've seen this before. That becomes a quadrillion-dollar market.
Jesus.
That's why every single bank from about 1985, well, particularly after the Big Bang in London. So let's call it from about 1990 to about 2008, 2010, all the major banks' largest operations were London. So Goldman Sachs' biggest operation, most profitable, London. Merrill Lynch, London. Merrill Lynch is different because it was a brokerage firm. But JP Morgan, they were all London. So London, if you've been watching the news, is going to do the same thing. It's called regulatory arbitrage. London is putting together a very sensible set of crypto rules, as has Europe, as has Switzerland, as has Singapore, as has Hong Kong, as has Australia. Okay, there's its old trading group that it did with Eurodollars and it did with derivatives and it did with foreign exchange, all got their regulations in place. The UK is the hub at the middle, and it will capture the lion's share. And before you know it, Coinbase, Gemini, and everybody will move to London.
Keep your crypto safe with a DCENT biometric hardware wallet. With talks about cyber attacks or exchanges going down, it's imperative to keep your assets safe. And just know with DCENT, your private keys are your private keys and only you have access to them. In the description below, I'm going to put affiliate links where you can receive $30 off the retail price. There's also a 2-wallet package deal that's a great value. There's no need to wait. Order your wallet and keep your crypto safe now. Well, everyone, if you did enjoy the video, please do subscribe so you can stay up to date. Thanks for watching another edition of Token Topics.